Hey, what's up? This is Simon Terrell. I did the score for the Public Domain Dungeon Volume 2, Nosferatu. Um, Not a whole lot to say about it because I wanted to do Nosferatu because as far as the silent era goes, it's one of my favorites. Maybe my favorite because it's one of the first movies that I feel like was probably terrifying. But I can't go into that mindset because I don't know what people thought in the 20s what was terrifying. But obviously, but I knew with that, the first one we did several shorts, silent films, and this was one movie. And so I had to come up with something that would be in flow decently enough for one movie. And so, the version I had studied obviously had a soundtrack of its own. And it was very typical, now not silent film like, but, silent horror films. It was more orchestral and, and that worked, and that probably worked for its time. But, I wanted to do something that was me, and it was also more modern and more digital, if you could say it that way. It was more of a digital symphony in a blender. Poured down the toilet, flushed down the toilet, collected back in the blender with whatever else came through with that, blended together again, and then we just drank that, and that's what this was. And my audio sources that I use, because there's no traditional instruments on this. There's no guitar, bass, drums, vocals, or anything like that. It's there's voice, and I don't know if he wants me to say this, but one of the audio sources that I used was the commentary track that he recorded here for his quarantine film, Self-Isolation, that award-winning film. I just took that. That was the first step. I just took that and chopped it up, slowed it down in some spots, speeded it up, added, reversed it, and added 10,000 effects to it and everything. And then I guess I lied when I said there's no traditional instruments. I had a guitar track that I had done. It was like some simple, like little two note like thing that I was doing for something else, and it just wasn't working. So I took that same thing, chopped it up, reversed it, put a bunch of effects on it, slowed it down, sped it up, blah blah blah. And it wasn't, when I was putting that together, that really wasn't what I had in mind. Like it wasn't necessarily my idea to use that for this, because I'm a terrible musician, but I'm a musician, and I like to just kind of make music, and sometimes it's not just sitting here jamming on a guitar, playing a drum kit. Sometimes it's sitting here at the computer and doing things like that too, and so when I started putting those two tracks together and blending them more, putting them over the Nosferatu video, and I'll admit this, it was completely by accident, but it seems like a lot of things when it would rise and fall and things like that, it worked with what was going on. So I left it in, and I don't know what he was expecting at the time, because I remember sending him the final track, and even sending him a copy of the movie with my track on it, and thinking and telling him, I really, really, really hope you like this. Not in a pity kind of way, but it was it turned out so much more better. It turned out so much better than I had expected it to, because over here in this part of my office doing the music, and then I get it on a flash drive. I put it on the other half of my office and watch it on the big TV with the big sound system, and it fit. It worked, and I thought it sounded great. Like, but there's still like an anxiety part of me that's like, man, he's not gonna like it. So I try turning things a little bit late sometimes, because then I try to use that to my advantage, like to where Daniel can be like, well, I didn't like it a whole lot, but fuck, we don't have any time to do it again. But no, I'm just joking. But like, he did like it, and apparently he liked it a lot. I was, a very rare occurrence where I was kind of impressed with what I do, because any kind of artist, don't matter what you do, unless you're just a complete arrogant piece of shit, like, you're going to be your own worst critic and your own worst enemy. And this was a case where, like, it was like, there's that one time, like I said, I had the confidence of, like, this fit. It fit so good, but it wasn't music, it's sounds. It's just soundscapes and stuff. Like, there's no music to it. It doesn't matter what I used to make it. Once it's all blended up like that's what happens. It's just soundscapes and stuff. And it was something that I've been doing for a long time, and in a couple of different music projects that I've been a part of, like, that's always been a part of that too. Like, you might make a full-length CD and, like, 2 songs, maybe these just like tracks of music like that. And I've always been into that, and I thought that would fit this. Like I said, going back to what I said before, like, to make it more modern and to make it me more, something I'm into, and like, but still make it fit and make it work. It was a challenge. Not so much a challenge to make the music as much as it was a challenge to make something that actually worked and fit the film, and made people happy, and so I hope everybody likes it. I was into it, and I do a lot of stuff like that. So, yeah.